So, in your opinion, what are the advantages and disadvantages of online and offline university?
So, I guess for offline, again, you can have like this sort of like sense of community. You see people online, you see people, and you're kind of just like, you know, opportunities to do things in like groups and everything instead of just breakout rooms where it's like an awkward silence and you're kind of like, I don't know who's gonna start talking, who's gonna unmute first. That is so much easier in like an in real life breakout room, aka a group. So yeah, I think that is something that's definitely an advantage of offline university, where it's just like you get to talk to people, you get to talk to your professor, and you get to like, sort of figure out like, oh, this is like this, or it's like you just feel like you're part of the act. You actually feel like you're part of the class. That's what I would say. Online university, I think it gives people the freedom to, especially when it's like pre-recorded lectures or stuff like that, it gives people the freedom of being able to just like learn when they can. Because in university, there's a diverse amount of people. It's not just people of your age. Sometimes there are mothers, sometimes there are people who have children, for example. I mean, well, parents, I'd say, instead of just mothers. There are parents in school, and there are other people who are working full-time jobs, which is 40 hours per week, and they're still taking like 5 or 4 classes. And then it's just like, it's a lot. That is a lot of work to do. And it's online university. It gives you that freedom to be able to do your things while also learning at the same time. People, they work because sometimes they have to, or it's just like they want to. Either way, like being able to watch a pre-recorded lecture instead of having to attend that lecture, you can work your shift, go home, and the lecture will still be there, and you won't get penalized for not coming to class and stuff like that. And I think that that's a very big advantage, especially for people who really, really need it, because it's just like otherwise they'd have to stop work, and then what if they actually need like that much money and they can't earn it because they have to go to school, then how? And then they won't it was not as efficient for these types of people, I think. Not sorry, not these types of people, for these people. I'm so sorry, that sounded a bit rude. But yeah, those are the offline and online advantages of university, in my opinion. Yeah.
Is like, do you compete in class? Like, you feel like you need to be better than the others, or is it just you versus you?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say it's me versus me. That's what I feel. I don't think, at least for the classes that I've been in, it's not like everyone is kind of like, everyone around here is my enemy. I'm not going to talk to any of you. I'm not going to make friends. I'm not going to do this. I'm only going to talk to you if I need to, or if I need something from you. It's not like that. That is a very selfish way of looking at the world, and you'll feel very lonely if that was the case. Of course, you want to be better than everyone, but it's not like everyone's like, oh, I got a 90. And then someone's like, well, I got a 91. It's not like that. People don't usually flex their grades. Um, they're kind of just like, oh, okay, yeah, it's all good. This is for me, this is for myself. And right now, you're all learning the same things. People go through different situations. Again, you have to be sensitive to that. You cannot be like, oh, for example, a student A who's like lives with his parents, lives with their parents, lives and like has a car, for example, has the finances, has everything ready for them. They're like, oh, I got a name. And student B has to work, has to provide for their family, maybe has to commute to school, for example. They're like, oh, I wasn't able to get an A. I was able to get a B. It would be very rude for student A to be like, well, I got an A, how come you got a B? Their situations are not the same. You don't want to flex like that. That's why I feel like putting yourself on a competition, it's really harmful, I'd say, unless that's what motivates you. If that's what motivates you, I would say maybe try and direct that competition in terms of your past self. You want to be bettering yourself, not like in a sense like I have to be better than everyone all the time. If you keep thinking that way, you are probably going to end up burning out. You're probably going to end up feeling like, what if, on a bad day, you might be like, what if I am not better than anyone? And then you might lose all that motivation in like a flash, because that's what I think I would go through. I don't like comparing myself with other people. I used to panic so much when it came to like listening to people talk about like, oh, this is what I did in graduate school, this is how I get to graduate school. And it's like, oh my God, I'm against all these people who are also going for the same thing with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not this and not that. That is very harmful. It has led me to a lot of dark places. It is not fun. I don't suggest doing that. So what I instead try to do is I want to be better than the me I was last week. Even if it just means like I'm gonna drink more water. I didn't drink that much water last week and I'm drinking more water now. That's a step forward. You're always taking steps forward. So don't worry about that. So in terms of competition, me against old me instead of me against everyone. Again, you want to make friends in university. You're there for 4 years. 4 years might seem like a quick amount of time, but that imagine having to go 4 years in Raffles without knowing anyone, without being friends with anyone. That is very lonely. And it's like this is a large part of your life where you get to experience things on your own without your parents and everything, without someone to constantly be there for you. You want someone to be there. I'm not saying it has to be a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but you want someone you can lean on sometimes. And I think friends are pretty important. So you don't want to look at everyone like we are all competition. Gotta keep my eye out, gotta watch my back. It's not like that. That's it's not like that at all. So yeah. Yeah. What I feel.
Also clear, living in Canada, is it hard? Maybe the immigration process there.
Um, so I had an agent for that. I would suggest getting one. It's for, I mean, if you're gonna study abroad, it just helps with things like so much easier. They kind of know more information than you probably would. And it's like they'll help you. That kind of depends on what they'll help you with. Immigration process, I kind of just like gave them what excuse me, I gave them what they needed, and then they just they did the whole process for me. So I can't really speak much on that, unfortunately. In terms of, but you just want to be careful. That is my one piece of advice because I went through trouble getting here in some sense, where it's like, um, and this is actually from the school itself. The school told me it was okay to come with a parent, and when I came here, my dad wasn't allowed in because of COVID. And that was actually like that was a very dark time in my life. Um I didn't know what to do because it's like we traveled here for like how long? Like maybe like a day. And you're telling me now that we're at the airport, you're telling me my dad can come with me? Like what am I supposed to do? I've never been alone in a country and stuff like this. So immigration process, my only advice is just be careful, get an agent, make sure you know the right information. Um, this is like I was very paranoid about this, and I think that it was rightfully so. So do that. Just read, make sure you read through what exactly they ask of you. Sometimes it's tricky, so make sure you check again with like immigration officers and stuff like that, and be like, okay, is this correct? Is this information accurate? Blah 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 blah, and etc. 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 Sorry, not blah blah blah, but like yeah, be careful and I think once you're in, just make sure, I'm sure that no one's gonna do a crime. I'm pretty sure no one's gonna do a crime. You shouldn't be doing crimes outside or anywhere. Anywhere, you shouldn't be doing crimes. So as long as you do that, you stick to your own stuff, you're good. So yeah, that's kind of it, really. Yeah, I feel like that was one of the harder parts of university, honestly, the immigration process. But once you're in, you are living, sort of, and you're just sort of chilling. Yeah.
Also clear, we have a lot of problems nowadays in
Oh,
in this world we're living, like
mhm.
racism, you know, religions,
Yeah.
genders, inequality. We would like to ask, how do you how do you see the differences in culture, languages, skin color? How do you tolerate that when you're in university, especially abroad, with many different, people with different backgrounds, families, and even financial situations?
This is actually one of the things that is highly, highly like it's spoken about so much. And it's like this should be applied like everywhere. It is to be inclusive. And I have spoken about this not in like a speech or anything, but like I've spoken about this to like my friends, to like my to my parents, at least my mom. And I just think about this to myself and everything. It's you have to respect everyone. And it's like that. You owe at least everyone the bare minimum of respect. That's my motto, kind of. It's like I'm gonna give everyone the same level of respect. The second I think you don't deserve it, then that's it. I'm just gonna ignore you. But in terms of well, I wouldn't use the word tolerate or cope because, well, to me, they are just people. They're humans. They are people just like me. They're here for the same purpose as I am, to study, to learn something new, to gain information about something that I'm interested in and they're interested in too. So I do understand that there is a lot about racism, sexism, and all the other isms, but well, I guess that is one of the things that I feel like really kind of like helps build safe community is how they are handled. This might sound a little jarring or a little this one, but nowadays the whole term about like canceling and all of that stuff, it is so much more dangerous when it is on the internet. That is all I'm saying. Because if for example, someone said like the N-word and they weren't supposed to, for example, please don't say the N-word. It is not okay. It might be okay like now, but like just saying that, it is not okay at all. Like in the outside world, absolutely not. It is a racist act. But yeah, when they say the N-word, if someone they have that information and they decide to use it against you, they just have to email the university from some kind of email and you'd be out. You'd be expelled, suspended or even expelled. And that's it. What are you going to do? Your life is over. So I think what is important, you need to be inclusive of everyone. You need to show everyone respect. You need to understand that it is like, there are people that are different from you, people with different backgrounds, people, again, with the financial situations and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to seem self-centered. You don't want to seem like the only type of people that exist in the world are my people. No, that is not true at all. And I guess this is not even something that like you kind of like think about unless you look for it. You know, when I see like my school has like a bunch of people where it's like I believe I've seen like some Chinese, Koreans, Black people, and all this stuff. And I mean stuff, no, sorry, all these types of people. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think about it unless I'm like actively looking for it. And I'm not actively looking for it. Unless you are constantly being like, where is the Korean? Or where is do I see like a Chinese person here? You're not gonna care because again, no one really thinks about that kind of stuff. Everyone is together, everyone is here for the same purpose. That is how I see it. And it's just like you're a person, I'm a person, we're in a lecture, that is it. I do not like, I am not going to judge you for your skin color, your religion, anything. There are clubs for different religions, there are clubs for different like ethnicities and everything. You will feel well, I wouldn't say that, but you will probably find a community where you can belong to. And I do think that there is a growing problem in terms of like all these isms, but there is also much change in working towards that. And I'm very glad that I haven't run into a sort of situation where I was discriminated against for, being Asian and stuff like that. That's all really. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. And if not, you could ask again.
Yes, yes. Previously, we have also discussed regarding class competitors, as Mara have just asked you about that. Um, we're interested to know, like, if we see the greats in the world, like for example, if we take examples from sports, let's mention the greatest of all times. For example, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Messi, Ronaldo. They're the best of the best, like at their own field. Like we would like to ask, what separates the good from the best? Yes, we can link this in terms of studies. Yes. What do you think of that? What's your thoughts? What makes the difference?
I think that hard work, that is something. It's the amount of effort you put into what you do, you know. And it's like, obviously, those people you just mentioned, they didn't become like that overnight. It's a process, right? You constantly wake up, you do it again and again. For example, I guess Kobe Bryant, he do basketball every day, right? It's not something that's like, oh, you know, I'm good at it already. Being humble, that's another thing. Being able to constantly push yourself to be better every single day. Because if you keep saying, I'm good enough, I don't need practice, I don't need this and that, you're not going to get, you know, you're going to be stuck at the same spot. That is why this is, I'm so sorry about that. This is something that Raffles has like said, and it's like having a growth mindset. And it's, that is very important. Being able to just keep like saying, I can be better than this, I can be better than this, and pushing yourself again and again and again. But again, not until you break and burn out, but also like knowing, like being able to assess where you stand in terms of like, you know, for example, where does Kobe Bryant think he stood in amongst all his competitors, and being able to be like, okay, my next goal is to reach this other like level, for example, and like after that this next level and stuff like that. Having someone to admire, I think that's also something that's really helpful. What separates good from the best is just hard work and being able to be humble, in my opinion. That's, yeah, because that, being humble is not just for people around you, it's for yourself. It really helps in terms of growth and being able to work hard and constantly do, you know, better again and again and again. Because you'll explore things about yourself. You're like, oh, I can reach a new limit, I can do this. And that's, I think, what the best people do. They constantly improve themselves. And, you know, good people might stop somewhere, people who are good at something might stop somewhere, but again, people who are good at something can also become the best at something, in my opinion, if you just keep pushing forward. So yeah, I just think it's different levels type of thing. So yeah. Cool.
Okay, so I think that's for our podcast for today. Thank you very much, Claire, for the
No,
like. Thank you very much.
But
no, no.
before we end, may we have your final message here to those listening here, maybe the teachers from Raffles, students, even Bianca, your sisters, maybe listening to this podcast because we're going to broadcast it throughout our revisions. Yeah.
um I guess it's kind of just to you know, on top of everything I said today, like I'll just give a little summary because that's how, you know, it works. But it's just keep doing what it is that makes you happy. Find um you know, something that gives you the happiness. If it's studies, well, great. If it's something else, do it anyway. Like eating, you know, go ahead and eat and stuff like that. Being happy is super important in life. I know it's hard. It might seem like it's not important when all you should be doing is studying, but this is again going back to that point. You are so much more than your studies. You are so much more than your work. For example, for the teachers, you know, you are a person outside of that. You deserve to do human things. You deserve to give yourself a break. You deserve to get to be praised if you did something you're worthy of praise. um if you did something worthy of praise. And it's also just um, yeah, live in the moment too. I guess that's also something that's really important. I spent so much of my time thinking about uni and like wishing that I wasn't in Raffles. And then I found myself like, wow, if I didn't do that, if I looked at things maybe from a different perspective, which I know is difficult sometimes, maybe I could have been a bit happier and everything. So yeah. And you know, even if it's okay to break down. It's okay to take breaks. It is okay to give yourself, you know, some time, you know, to do other things besides studying. I'm not saying do this like a week before exams, but like, of course, manage your time. And yeah, you know, remember that you're human. Remember that everyone in the class is on the same path as you, almost on the same path as you. You know, you have a community. Remember that you are cared for, whether by your parents, by your teachers, by your friends. Someone out there is taking care of you. Someone's like you know, I want to say you are loved, because I think that's very important, especially when now in university I feel a lack of it sometimes, and it's very sad. So yeah, take care of yourself. Um, you've got a long way to go, and that's okay. Baby steps. Baby steps is what gets through it. You can do it. Just take an extra step every day, whether it be in life or in school, and you will get to your goal at some point. It's okay. It doesn't matter if you're not on the same speed as everyone else. What matters is you reach it, right? So it's okay. Take a deep breath and keep going. So yeah, you got this.
So that concludes our podcast today. Claire Regina Kurniawan, former Raffles Christian School, Kabonduro campus. Thank you so much, Claire, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
So much.
Signing out.